All right, guys. Good evening. Today is Monday night, December 29th, 2025, last Monday of the year. So if you are coming on here, let me know if you're in the chats, if you can hear me okay, if the audio and video is a go, and we'll get this show started. I see Mavericks in the chats. I see Rico in the chat. So let's go. Today is going to be an exciting guest for us. I'm really looking forward to this show. Um, and hopefully we'll get Ryan to join if he's able. If not, then we'll do what we can, right? So let's go. Let's get this going. Let's get it started. So give me the okay, guys. If the audio and video is good, if it's coming on well, and if it is, then we'll get this kicked off and get it going. So let me bring the chats on here. Where's my chats? Boom. There's the chats there. Okay. All right. What are we looking like on the audio video, guys? Everything good? I'm gonna hit the refresh because good evening. Dustin Gonzalez is in the chats. What's up, Dustin? Is the audio visual good? Arian is in the house. But I still don't have no confirmation. People are coming in, they're just in the chats, they're just looking at me like, okay, let Cash make fun of himself for a little bit before they really jump in and say, okay, hey, we got you, Cash. Anyways, if you got me, let me know, okay, and we'll go from there. Video is good, audio is kind of weird. Why is the audio weird? That's not a good sign. Right. Okay, hold on. That's not what I wanted to do. Now I just messed up something. All right, is that any better? Are we good with that? Transplant of the hair going, man, look, I still need it. So loud and clear from Marion's side. So it might be your connection, Dustin. Good evening, Justin. So let's get this show started. Let's start with our where did my show go? All right, let's start with our sponsors of the week. So let's bring that up here. So our sponsors of the week is Rewired Technologies and Nanotech Window Film. Thank you to our sponsors, and without them, we are not able to do a lot of things that we want to do. So thank you guys for supporting the group. Thank you for supporting the community, and continue to be partners with us on this beautiful journey of growth and education. So, with that being said, let's do our intro. And we are back with our chats. Cut the music, and let's bring this back up here. All right, so it doesn't speak very good English. Can hear and understand. What's up, Kyle Whelan? Definitely need some music on that thing. I've been working on some music. I just couldn't find anything good. I'll put this on here and I'll put it in the background so you guys have something. So there we go. Hopefully, if that's loud, let me know and we'll change it. But without further ado, I do want to bring on our guest and let's get this show started the proper way. Um, to everybody, welcome our guest. Let me get him on here. Good evening, sir. How are you doing today?
Good evening, guys. I'm doing good. Glad to be here with you.
Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for doing this.
My pleasure.
And for the people that don't know who you are, if you can give us a quick intro of who you are and what your background is.
Yeah, my name is Ismail Pereira. I am a tinter like most of you, father of two, and owner of Nice Tint over here in New England. And I've just been having fun and chatting with you guys in the groups, trying to help as much as I can.
Awesome, awesome. And you are the sole owner, or you are owner with somebody else on bottom loading?
No, I'm sorry. On the bottom load, you said?
Right. Wait.
Well, Well, on the bottom load, I'm just one of the guys running it.
Okay. Which group do you own?
I don't own anything. I started bottom loading.
You started bottom loading. That's what I meant.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're just with a whole bunch of people, but you're the one that started that idea and started the concept of helping other people with the bottom load.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Maybe eventually we'll go into the story why and how it started. I think it would be interesting at some point.
Well, yeah, I mean, we definitely would love to talk about that. And for the people that are watching, this is Ishmael's very first podcast. So I am honored that you're on our podcast as your very first podcast. So thank you for that.
My
How
plan
how long have you been tinting,
since '92,
and what got you into tinting?
money.
Okay,
It's
elaborate a
a
little.
very simple reason. Listen, I was a McDonald's manager then, working like many hours, 60, 70 hours on salary. They were sucking my blood with the baby in the house, the need to make more money. And window tint just fell on my lap.
Okay, so how did they fall into your lap if you're a manager at McDonald's?
Yeah, what happened is my first daughter was born, Barbara, in '92. And I felt the need to tint my car. I had a small car, an Isuzu I-Mark. You're too young to know what kind of car I'm talking about, but it's comparable to a Corolla. And I wanted to tint it, and I told my wife, well, we need to tint the car for the baby. That was the excuse. And so I went out to find a place to get my car tinted. There was three shops in my area, and they were all booked like 3 weeks. I'm a greenhorn. I'm Portuguese greenhorn. And immediately a light came on. I said, "These people are making a lot of money. There's business here." So I had to learn. I had no idea. I had no clue where I could find somebody to teach me, schools or anything. It was the yellow pages. You probably don't even know what I'm talking about. The
Oh,
yellow
I
pages
heard of the
time.
yellow. I'm young, but I'm not that young compared to you. I'm still old to a lot
So,
of.
so I went on the yellow pages to find a place where I could buy film besides AutoZone, because by then, when I decided to go to Yellow Pages, I had tried already for like 3 or 4 weeks. I would take my day off from McDonald's, one day off. I would take my day off and go to AutoZone, buy 10 rolls of film, go to my driveway and try all day long my day off, waste 10, 12 rolls of film on that day. And I did that for like maybe 4 weeks on a roll until I finally realized, listen, I'm not getting anywhere. I need some help. So I went to the yellow pages and I found 3M was the only thing that I found around me in that time. I am in the Boston area, so Peabody, there was a 3M dealer distributor in Peabody. about 2 hours drive from where I was. I called them up. They said, well, we can't sell to you, sir, because you need to be certified. So I didn't get a no for an answer. One day I took my day off and I went there, drove 2 hours, knocked on their door, and they said, what do you want here? I said, well, I need to talk to whoever is in charge here. I need to know how I can buy film from you. So they finally had a little mercy on me and let me talk to Mr. P. That guy changed my life actually because he said, well, I'm sorry, I can't sell it to you. He was very honest. I can't sell it to you. You need to be certified. And I told him, okay, what do I do to get certified? They said, well, you got to go to school. It's going to cost you this much money. I told him, I got to find a different way. I can't afford that money. I can't take a week off from my job. So I have to find another way. He said, well, what way are you thinking about it? I asked him, well, who's your best guy in this area? Within an hour drive from where I am at, who's your best installer? He said, what do you want with him? He said, well, I want to go to your best installer and I'll pay him to do 10 cars for me. I'll pay him double with the condition that I can watch him and I'll see what happened. So he had a guy called Vinny Majewski, a young man, an engineering student from the university about 30 minutes from my house. Very young man, maybe 21, 22. So I said, well, can I have his number? He said, then are you really going to go there when you live only 15 minutes from him and ask him to teach you so that you can start a business 15 minutes from him? I said, hey, listen, worst case scenario, he's going to say no. So I'm going to try. So he picked up the phone himself and called Vinny and said, hey, Vinny, I got this greenhorn here with an interesting proposition. What do you think? So he told him what was my plan, and Vinny said, send him over. And that's how I started learning. I went to Vinny. Vinny showed me very patiently how to do it, 5 cars. And then he didn't have the patience anymore for more than 5 cars. He said, now you're on your own. You got to go and do it yourself. And that's how I started. I thank my life to these two guys, Mr. P and Vinny Majewski. They were instrumental in my life.
Now, is Vinny still in business in your area?
Vin, Vinny is in a different business. He was very successful, by the way. He became an engineer, but never worked as an engineer because he was making a lot more money doing window tinting. So he was very successful until things went bad in his family. There was divorce issues and things went really south. And he moved away, wasn't doing well for a while. And then he started a different business. And now, as far as I know, I haven't seen him in years. As far as I know, he's doing very well again.
That's beautiful. That's awesome. So let's talk about what made you want to help out or make the group bottom loading. And you started with learning from Vinny. Did you just go ahead and start doing this on the side, or did you just go ahead and open up a shop?
Well,
How did that
it was
progress?
a long process from learning, to begin to learn because I'm still learning to this day. But my beginning was a long process. Number one, I needed a McDonald's manager, money because I had a family to support. Uh, so I had one day off, and that day off was the day that I was practicing window tint. So I tinted all my friends' cars, family cars, neighbor cars, employees' cars. I tinted everybody's car practicing and telling them, hey, listen, all I want you to do is refund my film. That's all. That's all I need. And I did that for about 8, 9 months, maybe every day off. That's what I was doing. until I got comfortable with the process. Once I got comfortable with the process, I went to my boss, Charlie, nice guy, I'll never forget him, and said, Charlie, I need another day off during the week. So he started giving me the Monday. So now I have 2 days off. I went on knocking on doors, spreading cards, business cards all over parking lots, business doors, everything I could. I would drive to a neighborhood and stop on driveways and put my cards on windshields. Um, from that point on, it took me about a year to ask for another day off and another year to get another day off. In 3 years, I was able to quit my management position and start my own shop.
Okay. So for the
Yeah,
first year,
keep in mind, I'm in a region where window tinting, it's really not necessary per se. People do window tint mainly for style. You know, the sun over here, it's not that brutal. The heat over here is not that brutal, and it's only for a couple of weeks during the year. So, window tint, it's really there. Let's put it this way: there's not one high volume shop in my area within 2 hours drive.
hmm, okay. So for those 3 years, did you do it out of your house? Did you do it out of parking lot? How did you do that?
That's another interesting process. The first place I started doing, uh, besides Vinny, was in a storage space. I rented a storage space where I could fit a car, barely fit a car. And I had to do one side, move out, turn around to do the other side. And I was there until they found out what I was doing and kicked me out. It took them about 12 months to figure out what was going on in the back of their property, which was my space there. And then I went on and I couldn't afford a commercial space. So I rented a garage from one of my neighbors. And I had to bring the cars there because, it was a residential area. He did not want anybody to know what I was doing there because they were going to go after him. So for another year or so, I did it that way. And then I finally found a guy who owned a 12-volt shop who was looking for a tinter. And Rob was he's still a friend of mine, was my first business partner because Rob wanted to have a tinter and I wanted to have a shop. So I told him, hey, listen, I'm not employee material. I don't want to work for anybody anymore. I want to run my own thing, but we can partner. I'll help you with the bills and I'll do my own thing. And you get your customers, I'll give you a commission. And we started a partnership that way. He owned part of the business. I owned part of the business. And we did that way for a long time.
Beautiful. So from there, what's the next progression from there?
From then on was it's history. I started going out. I got my own shop, and I had three partnerships in the last 30 years. I had three different partnerships with the glass place. I started with one glass place, and now I'm doing every glass place from Cape Cod to Boston. But I had this kind of partnerships. I would get in with my tinting business. So they would own the glass part of the business, and I would own the window tinting part of the business. And that's how we've been doing until COVID hit. After COVID, I quit everything that I had to do with the city. And I built a barn in my backyard and I moved my business to my backyard.
Okay. So now it's just you and your shop. Do you have somebody else that works with
I
you,
have
or?
a couple of people working with me, but not for me. I made the decision that from now on it's all 1099. They, I, you know, since the beginning, I always told people, listen, window tinting, it's a beautiful thing. I love window tinting, and there is a lot of money in window tinting. So you don't need to work for me. You come along, I'll show you how to do it, but you're going to work for yourself. So if you're late, if you're lazy, if you're slow, if you don't want to grow, if you don't want to make money, it's fine. I'll have somebody else do it. So from the beginning, from the get-go, I've been all my life telling people, listen, window tinting, it's a business that you can do it yourself, make money for yourself. We can make money together, but I was never big into employees. I have had, but my idea was always to help somebody. I have helped many shops to start. I have a lot of friends in my tinting network because I helped a lot of people establish themselves.
Nice, nice, beautiful. That's a great history of learning how far you've come, and I love that concept. It's a unique concept, as you know how you're setting up, working with the people rather than having to work.
Tomorrow. Oh, does he really?
Without further ado, let me introduce our co-host Ryan.
Temporary.
How's it going? Hi, Ismail. How are you?
How are you, man? How are you? How's things?
Not too bad. Pretty good, I guess. Just long drive. We're up in Pennsylvania now again. Freezing, yeah. It's funny. I was trying to listen a little bit here. My service isn't that great. Hopefully, I can stay on here for a little bit. But I kind of grew up in the Northeast here too. In the industry, and I don't know. You probably heard this a lot. Do you get a lot of the that's all you do, you only window tint? And I think because classically up here, you do the partnering thing is kind of like it goes hand in hand. You want to get in a shop with the 12-volt guys, the stereo guys, and stuff like that. And in fact, a lot of us up here would end up doing remote starts and stuff like that in the winter times, to like to fill in, some of our downtime because a lot of people weren't thinking about tint. So, I always get the, what else do you do? Is that it? That's it?
Yeah, a lot of people are surprised many times when they ask that question and they hear from me, yeah, this is all I do. I'm a one business, one trade kind of man. That's all.
Yeah.
And I actually, I don't regret. I have very few things that I regret in life, but I could have been involved in PPF. I could be involved in vinyl wrapping and all of that. But at this point, for the last 10 years, I'm more focused on the end of the game for me. So I am more involved with the farm than anything else, actually. I have a couple of guys working with me, and I'm always telling them, listen, and one of them I have got him for training. He actually went to Mike Norg for training on PPF.
Oh, nice.
And my other guy, Nelson, I've been trying to get him to get his training also, because I want them to grow and be involved not only on window tinting, 12 volts, PPF, paint correction, and vinyl wrapping, and ceramic coating, all of this stuff that they can make good money and provide for their families. I'm the old dog that I'm at the end of my career. I'm kind of slowing down, but trying to push them, to grow.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. Cash and I were talking when Cash told me that you're coming on. We are kind of talking about this, and I wanted to say that I've always admired you and like what you do online here. We never catch you flipping out on anybody. You always come at everybody with a I don't know, very professional. You know what I mean? Like the whole persona that you put out there. And I really admire that. I try to amplify that a little bit, I guess, as well. Like I tried, I like to have fun with everybody here and there too, but like there's a time and place for everything. And again, like I just admire, like, how you treat the rest of us out there with your online persona anyway.
Well, I appreciate that, and I would say maybe what happened is my wife and I, we've been married for 44 years, and what happened is we travel a lot. We've been to many places and many different cultures. And I have learned to understand, perhaps along the way, that some cultures are very different than my culture. See, when I came to America 40 years ago, yeah, I am Portuguese, born in Brazil, which is a melting pot. It's a mix of the whole universe. It's in Brazil, differently than Portugal, that it's one main culture. In lately, it's been mixing a little bit. But you know, people that commit fraud in certain places, they don't even call fraud. They don't understand fraud. They don't think it's fraud. They can walk away with something that belongs to you, and they don't even think about it. And
Yeah.
and some other cultures don't like jokes. I love jokes. I'm always joking. But listen, I don't joke online because I don't know who I'm talking to. And I don't know what culture that person's coming from. I might just show a smiley face on my comments to somebody, and that smiley face could be offensive. So I'm
Okay.
always very careful when I'm in a public place online, because I don't know who's out there, and I don't know how they're gonna understand my communication. So I try the best I can to be honest, true to what I think it's right and wrong, but understand that a lot of people might not understand what I'm talking about. So I'm trying to be as mild as possible, as meek as possible, although I'm not a meek person at all. I'm Portuguese. I have like my patience is like this big.
Yeah. You know,
You're
I
probably the most patient Portuguese I've met, other than one other friend I had in California. His name was Bill, but he dealt with he groomed donkeys, but he was a
Oh,
tire sales guy, but he has showcased donkeys, and man, he had custom saddles for them and everything. And that was the only other Portuguese guys I know that was very calm and collective like you. Where most of our Portuguese people I've had experience with, like you said,
yeah, yeah. Well, I don't get to show that side of me online.
that's probably better.
uh,
Rico says Portuguese are usually serious and mean.
it's good to kind of like hear that and listen to that and get your background story, because a lot of people are wondering about who you are and what you do, because there are a lot of tenters that are on your group, and they are like Avery said earlier in the comments that, hey, I use your page on a regular. I mean, when I first got introduced to it, um, I've been using it consistently. We still day to day go on there and look up different stuff to help out. Like, hey, what do we need to do to remove a door panel or a seal? And then you got yourself that's got a lot of videos out there, but then you got other tinters that are also posting a lot of videos that you can kind of, you know, guess or kind of see what the work is and what it entitles you to do what needs to be done. So with that, how did you come up with that page, or what idea, or what inspired you to do that? Like, I really want to understand that, because I love hearing the history. I love watching the greats and admiring the greats, and I don't know, that just kind of gives me a little bit more of the insight of who you are and what your thoughts were.
That group came out of frustration. Yeah, I'm serious. I'm serious. You see, I am a tinter. When people ask me what I do, it's I tint glasses. So I'm not a bottom loader, but I'm not a true stage either. I'm a tinter. And for my customer, I always understood this. My customers don't care what I do with their car while I'm in possession of it. As long as when they come to pick up the car, it's tinted and it looks good.
Mm.
And nothing is broken. Everything is perfect the way it was. Nice and clean, and it looks good. There is no rattling, and everything is back in order. So with that idea, I always try to teach people. The first guy that I thought was a high school kid called Peter, and he would go to school, and then after school, he would come to the shop and work with me at my first shop in New Bedford, in partnership with Robert. Um, so I told him, "Hey, listen, Peter, I don't care. I'm going to show you what I do, and this is how it might be easier for you to get going. But I don't care how you do it. It doesn't matter to me. As long as when you're done with the car and you tell me, I'm going to wait for you to tell me I'm done. And when you're done, I'm going to come and I'm going to look at it. And if it's good, beautiful, it's good. If it's not, I'm going to tell you to redo it. That's all. No big deal. But so you don't have to do what I do. You have to do the tinting. That's all I want you to do. And I've been preaching that for all my life. I think a true tinter needs to know how to tint. It doesn't matter how he tints, as long as it looks good at the end, the car is clean, it's beautiful, and the customer is happy, and he made his money. That's all that matters. At the end of
Yep.
the day, like Stan Foster says, all we do is put plastic on glass. How hard can that be, right? So one day, a little before COVID, one of my guys, Ricardo, he's from Falmouth Window Tinting, nice kid, he's doing very well. He was in his beginnings, probably. Yeah, it was about 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. He went in one of the forums. I'm still part of all the groups, and he went in one of the groups and he had a question, and his question had to do with bottom loading. Because when he came to learn with me, he learned bottom load, entry stage at the same time, but he was not good on neither one. He was just trying to figure it out.
Mhm.
So he went on and asked a question, and the question had to do with bottom loading. And he tagged me. Thank God he tagged me, because then I could see what was going on. That guy took so much crap, forgive my French, but so much crap. Hundreds of people went there and called him everything but smart.
Hmm.
They called him very, very bad names, and I said, man, that thing got me furious. I
Mm.
was so frustrated with that. I sent Billy Iton a private message, and I said, Billy, because it happened in other groups. I've seen that. I had seen that happen a couple of times,
Mhm.
but that specific episode had happened in the group that he was handling.
Right.
So I sent him a message. I didn't bitch about it. I didn't complain about it. I sent him a message. I said, Billy, would you give me permission to talk about the subject and try to figure out if there is anybody else in the group that would be interested in learning a little more about bottom loading without being ostracized like that? And I tagged him on the discussion that was going on. So he replied to me in a private message. He said, you know what? I don't think we need a new group. He was a nice guy. I loved him. We became very good friends after that. But he was very honest. He said, listen, dude, I don't think we need another group. We already have too many groups. I said, Billy, I think you're right. We already have a lot of groups. But all of our groups are generic. I don't see any group that talks specifically about bottom loading, and I am willing to take the crap if that is necessary. I'm willing to listen to whatever everybody has to say. All I want from you is permission to ask a question. Is there anybody else here that would like to talk a little more about bottom loading without getting smacked over the head with all of this rejection? And a half dozen people, so he gave me permission against his will, but he said, okay, if you want to deal with it, forget about it, just do it. So I asked the question, and a half dozen people showed interest. One of them actually got very excited about it, and at the beginning actually came along with me in the beginning, became one of the admins. But I was expecting maybe a couple of hundred people to be interested. Maybe I said, maybe there's a couple of hundred people in America that still do what I do, because I'm a bottom loader. I bottom load when I have to. I choose stage when I have to. I'm a tinter. But if people want to learn about bottom loading, yeah, I'm willing to share what I know. And there was a group of people, and from that little group of people, more people became interested, and I watched this turn like wildfire very quick. Within a couple of months, we had thousands of people, and I was super surprised. I mean, Billy and I talked about this afterwards privately. Both of us were very surprised. I was even surprised that after 6 months of the group, even Billy was trying to teach bottom loading. Well, he made a video teaching how to bottom load, and I sent him a message. Even you, Brutus. So for me, it has been a fun experience to notice that something that was rejected a lot by a lot of people, it's becoming more common. It's not as rejected anymore. I mean, 5 years ago, anytime I posted one of my videos in any of the groups, at least a half dozen haters, at least, I mean, I'm saying at least a half dozen haters would tell me to go somewhere else. And I just, I'm just going to show my video. You watch it if you want to, It's your problem.
I
But
know.
that's how bottom load was born out of frustration. I just couldn't deal with the crap that Ricardo was taking online. And I said, you know what? Let's see if there's anybody else out there that want to talk about this. That's it.
That's awesome. I talk about this a lot too. Like I grew up in a garage. My family mechanics. Grandfather, father had garages. Great uncle had a garage locally. I was always in and around cars. So for me, when I first started, getting into like tinting and stuff, taking things apart, it's a machine. Things come apart, they go back together, So I took things apart, made it easier for me to do it, right? And then when the internet comes around and you start seeing these different things and learning, a little bit easier ways, until like I started really catching, like, I think bottom loaders and then some of your YouTube videos too. I started realizing like, oh man, I don't have to actually take as much apart. Because, back the 70s and the 80s, most of the vehicles, those seals were, pinched in and stuff like that to the panels. So the panels had to come up off. But then all of a sudden, I didn't realize that all I had to do is roll the top backs on a lot of them and everything. Like, and a lot of those videos, I think before like I really started seeing yours popping up as much on YouTube too, would be like audio or audio guys, like here's how you remove a door panel. That's what it was. Removing door panels, not necessarily pulling sweeps, like so I feel like bottom loaders really kind of, to me, started that verbiage and stuff too, of like pulling sweeps and rolling panels and stuff, you know what I mean? Because at least in my opinion, or from what my limited knowledge of it was beforehand, it was pulling panels, and now I almost pull sweeps on almost every vehicle, and I rarely pull a panel.
The same thing here. I tell my guys, listen, the goal is to tint the glass. We are not getting paid to remove anything. So the idea is, if you have to remove, let's remove. Let's be cautious about it, but let's remove only what we have to remove. Let's not remove anything else
Right.
that we don't need to remove. And if you can do a clean, beautiful, nice installation without removing anything, that's awesome. Probably out of 5 cars that I tint and I bottom load, probably 4, 2 of them I bottom load without removing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a 50-50. But when I remove something, most of the time, I would say 95% of the time, it's just a sweep, nothing else.
Yeah. Yep. It's amazing. These newer cars, man.
I love
But
it.
it's so-
I love it. I love it.
I
I
love the-
remember. You would probably remember sweeps riveted to the car,
Yeah.
to the door of the car.
Yeah. There's a few
Yeah,
of them.
I got my drill through a Lexus glass,
Oh
trying to
yeah.
remove a rivet. So
Oh,
been there, done that, learned the hard way. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
and that was gonna be one of my questions was how many times had you have something go wrong like damaging glass, damaging door panels? You know, you talked about putting things back and not rattling or losing a tool. You know, this happens. I think Avery's in here. He's probably posted at least a couple times that he's either broke a handle or lost a tool. I know I've had a few tools kind of went away with the cards because they didn't rattle, and I was like, okay, it's too much trouble to open it back up. It's plastic; it's not gonna damage anything. You know, my tri-edge, for example, I've had a couple of tri-edges that walked away with some cars. I'm not gonna lie, it happens, and anybody else that says no, I call bullshit.
Hey,
The
the
first time-
silver card. I buy silver cards by the box. Okay. And I'm not joking. I have probably lost hundreds. But I have a 3-stage process when I drop a tool inside of a door panel. And I teach my students all of that. I said, listen, it's very simple. Don't panic. It's not going to break anything. It's not going to rust. It's not going to ruin anything in there. So the first thing you do, you step out, you step away from the car and look at the door panel and see how much crap it's on the pockets of the door panels. If you see nail polishes, keys, screwdrivers, and all kinds of change, quarters, don't even think about it. Forget it. Just let it go. Don't think twice. These people are used to hear noise come from this door. And we are creatures of, behavior. They're not going to change. So one more thing making noise over there, forget about it. Don't even think about it. Forget it. Now, you step away from the car and you look and there's nothing hanging over there. There's nothing on the pockets. You shake the door and there is no noise and you hear your silver card in there. That's going to be a problem.
Yeah. I've
it.
had
But you shake the door and you don't hear anything.
Yeah, exactly.
See you later.
Exactly. You know, that's what I'm talking about. And now, you know, there's times where you drop something or something that you actually go back and you fit, you know, you pull it back up, especially if it's a simple door, it's a simple process. But you know, for sometimes there's difficult doors, especially with like some of these BMWs and some of these other ones where you got not only one, you got like 6 screws to take out. There's pieces that you got to pop from certain angles so you don't twist anything, break anything. And in some of the older cars, you just don't want to mess with it because everything is, it's dried up, it's fragile, it's gonna break 9 out of 10 times. And no matter how much, experience you have, how many doors you popped, I hated popping doors in the beginning. Since Orion's been there for the last couple of years, gone so comfortable with it. We rarely do two staging. I did two staging today, and it was like felt weird because I haven't done two staging in so long. It was I forget what car it was. It was a Porsche. It was a Porsche, and we're like, not messing with that door panel. Let's just two-stage it. And we two-staged it. We had to redo the windows, because me and Aaron both. Aaron likes doing bottom loading as well, so he's kind of like was having a hard time on the auto edge because on that Porsche it goes in really well. So he kind of let it dry it up and it wasn't moving. And I'm like, dude, you just got to redo it. He's like, what? I was going to try to save it. I was like, no, there's a crease on it. I can feel it in the film. If I can feel it, there's no way you're bringing this out. So I ripped it. I went to help him. And then when I felt it, I was like, nah, bro, that's a redo. He's like, no, I was going to try to save it. I was like, no. But he learned from that process. And the next time he got it in really simple, really fast. But it's one of those things like a bicycle. You have to know both techniques. And, we kind of talked before the live a little bit when we were doing our audio video test is that this is an ongoing debate. We can have bottom loaders, two stagers, but I think you put it the best way is you're just a tinter. You're just there to tint the glass.
And it's not only old cars. You see, I am in the area in an area where I have to remind my guys all the time. I said, hey, listen, the car was dropped off last night. It was 10 degrees overnight. You bring the car inside the shop in the morning. That door panel could be brand new, but it's brittle like a sheet of glass or of ice. I mean, you twist that top, that thing is gonna pop very fast. So it's not like you're in Florida and it's 90 degrees and every door panel, it's very malleable, very flexible. So you have to use a lot of common sense. Window tint, it's beautiful. It's for me, it's very therapeutic. Window tint could be my hobby. No problem. I would have no problem having it as a hobby. But because it's beautiful, I love to do it. But it requires a lot of common sense. I mean, you're dealing with an old car, and you need to remove a third brake light. I mean, that car, it's 20 years old, never had tint, so the sun has been beating that plastic for 20 years. You can't just go there, grab it, and yank it out. You're going to buy a new one. But and where are you going to find a new one?
That's a big problem. 20 years, you got the Mercedes C300s, the 11 through that 13 or 14 model. That back deck is brittle as it can be.
Yeah.
As soon as you touch it, it breaks into pieces.
And you were asking how many times I broke stuff. Oh my God, I cannot even remember. I have a student, so once a month I take a little group to teach. And one of the things that I tell them, I said, listen, you better listen to me. I joke around a lot, and sometimes I have to tell them, listen, what I'm going to say now, it's serious, all right? So pay attention to this, okay? You are going to break shit. There is no ifs or buts. It's a matter of when you will break shit. So get used to the idea that if you are going to bottom load removing stuff, you are going to break stuff. So set aside, have a good insurance, number one. Set aside a little bit of cash to deal with breakage because you will break stuff. But listen, it's not the end of the world. Of course, it's not your goal to break anything. I haven't broken anything seriously in a long time, but I can remember brand new Audi A4s when they first came out, coming to the shop, and myself, not one of my people, myself, burned a door panel. Didn't break it, burn it. Back then, brand new, you have to wait to be sent from Germany. So now the customer is pissed for 6 months, and you're
Yeah,
out $2,000.
Yeah.
But hey, listen, it's part of the game. Unfortunately, sometimes it will happen. You don't want to do it, you want to avoid it. And because the worst part of breaking, it's not even the money lost or the time lost, is the embarrassment of having to bring up to the customer and say, "Sir, I'm very sorry, but I did this." And that is the terrible part of breaking anything.
yeah, yeah,
Right. But one thing I have learned with this is that if you explain it and you say I will take care of it, majority of your customers are gonna be understanding and are gonna work with you.
Well,
So
I haven't, I don't think over the years I have ever lost a customer because we broke something. Because my policy is this: if something goes wrong and something is broken, whether it's myself or one of my guys, when the customer comes to pick up the car, I already have the order for the part from the dealer. So the customer comes in, of course, I have to bend over and tell him what happened. But I tell him, listen, here's the order for the part, and you can either bring to us to replace it, or you can bring to the dealership if you don't feel comfortable. Bring to the dealership, and we'll pay for it. There's no discussion about this. We'll take care of it. And doing that, I don't think I ever lost a customer. Actually, they became better customers after something like that happened.
yeah. Because they understand. They know now. They're like, listen, you know, even if something breaks, he's got me. Like, so they trust you. I guess a,
well, you
a trustworthy move.
I think what a lot of customers appreciate is the honesty and you taking the responsibility on fixing it, right? At the end of the day, problems happen. We're human beings and you're going to make mistakes and things happen. Like you said, you
Absolutely.
yourself burned a door panel and it's like, damn, I've been doing this for so long. How the hell this happened? Shit happens. It's how do you fix that? And it's a beautiful example to put out there is you usually have an answer for the solution for the problem. So that way, when the customer does come arise, we had a similar incident earlier this year. We had an MDX and we've tinted, bunch of them. Did did we do a windshield or sun strip on that one?
Yeah, as a windshield.
It was a windshield. Car drove off fine, no problem, nothing. 35, 40 minutes later, the customer comes back and the wiper blades won't stop. And he comes back in and we're like, what the hell? And Ryan's a genius on taking things apart. He's got the fillers out, he's got everything out, and he's like, man, there's no water on the module that would cause this. And he searched it, I searched it, and then we see that the MDXs have a problem. We called Richard, obviously, who's on here. He's a good buddy of ours, and we kind of talked about Richard earlier. And he's already putting in the comments, you called me over on the MDX. We're trying to figure out with everybody, calling other people. And he's like, dude, it's a known problem on those things. And then there's also forums that are saying that it's a faulty issue. It doesn't even has to be related with tint. And then we had like 3 fans going in on it. 2 hours later, we're telling the customer like, hey man, I don't know what happened. It drove off fine, but we'll take care of it regardless. And then the customer goes like, it's not my car, it's my dad's car, and the dad's getting upset and all this, that. I'm like, listen, guys, at the end of the day, we tinted it. If this does not work, you can take it to Acura, send us the bill, and we take care of it. Simple as that. There's
Exactly.
no issues on that. I calmed the dad down, I calmed the son down, and then we're about to put the things back together and pull out the car. When we do it, the damn thing just stopped. It went back to normal. And we're like, what the hell just happened? You know, we were on it for 2.5 hours trying to figure out the stuff and dry it and all that stuff. It would not stop. And then as soon as Ryan puts everything back on, and it stops, and Ryan's like, "Dude, it stopped." We're like, "Okay, we gotta turn it off, restart it a couple of times, make sure it doesn't glitch again." And we're like, "Hey, man, it's not doing it no more, but you still have our insurance. If it has a problem, take it to the dealership, because if you don't want any of our guys working on it, that's fine. Take it to the dealership and send us the bill for it." Knock on wood. That was it. You know.
So looks like that was just a test for you.
I'm glad that was a test, not actual, situation. But the point is, like you said, and like any good business people out there that want to be in business for long term. Mike Powell's in the comments. He said, he'd replaced a piece for a BMW X7 and cost him $3,500. It happens. Things happen. It's how you deal with it. You just have to be prepared to deal with it and be upfront with the customer. Like, hey, man, we messed up.
We had an Audi. We recently had an A3 that we tinted. We did a windshield strip and we tinted the rest of the car. He took it and he come back and it was doing some weird stuff. It was the end of the night. We couldn't figure it out. It didn't seem to have anything to do with the another car we talked to Richard about. Didn't seem to have anything to do with the tint. We basically tell the guy, take it to Audi Monday, let us know. Anyway, we follow back up with them, because we're like, we want to know like what it was, whether it had anything to do with us or not. We want to know so that if this happens again, we know what to tell somebody, because we could not figure it out. It turns out it was a wheel sensor. It just so happened to happen while he dropped it off. We tinted it, and then he leaves, and the wheel sensor is screwed up. And the Audi dealership, told him wheel sensor is gone. Like, but we had to follow up and find out. Like, hey, it's the guy's like, oh yeah, no problem, nothing you did, is wheel sensor. I'm like, well, that's good to know.
You see, this kind of situations, I tell my guys all the time. I've learned over time that you don't know your customer, and your customer don't always know their cars. Many times they come in with a car that they just bought it. And maybe that's why they want to tint. So they don't know if there is an electrical issue. They don't know if there's a mechanical issue. We have been blamed at our shop so many times for so many different things. It's amazing. Even check engine lights. So you just tint a car and the customer drives away. Hey, my engine light just came on. You guys tinted my car and you ruined my engine. So, so I tell my guys, hey, listen, you don't know your customer. All you know, it's yourself. So behave professionally. Be patient, because, customers many times, unfortunately, they're stupid. and they don't know shit. Yeah, I mean, how a window tint job will trigger the check engine light? I mean, it's just nonsense. But you don't want to call him stupid, so what do?
Right.
You patiently go online, search for that vehicle, what kind of problem it could be. So when the customer shows up, you have a little bit of information. Plus, be always willing to go an extra mile. Hey, listen, I can go with you to a mechanic, or I can bring the car to a mechanic and let the mechanic tell us what's going on. And then whatever the mechanic tells us, so it is a situation. Many times it is a situation that, number one, and I've seen this happening over and over again. Number one, the customer could have had the intention of getting a free tint plus fixing his car.
Yep.
That's one thing that we have to always keep in mind, because not everybody it's good. Some people are not. So I have seen clearly that many dozens of people try to set us up. And that's why we started long time ago to go through a very serious check of the car before we even bring the car inside. So
Yep.
you gotta go there, you check for damages, you check for defects, you turn on the car, you check engine lights, you check for everything, scratches on glass, scratches on paint job, scratches on wheels, you check for everything, headliners, pillars, you check everything before you touch that car.
Yep.
Because if something escapes your inspection, you own it. Because you don't know, maybe the customer does know that he has a scratch on the pillar. Maybe he just bought that car and doesn't know. And now you are working on a car for 2 hours and he's
Yep.
come and pick up. And the first thing he's going to see is that scratch. Who did it? You did it.
Yeah. Yep.
So it is the tinter's job. It is the tinter's responsibility to check the car thoroughly before
Yep.
touching the car, so that they are not set up, because there's people out there wanting to set you up.
Yeah.
Then there are the coincidences. I mean, the car came in perfect. I think some time ago, not too long, a Honda, brand new Honda came in, and we worked on it. Everything is fine. The battery didn't go dead because Hondas have a tendency to, if you jump, you have a Christmas time on the dash. But this car didn't have any jumping or anything. Customer drives away and the dash was all lit up. So customer calls, "Hey, you guys broke my car." I said, "Well, bring it back. Let's take a look at it." And we have a relationship with many dealerships. So first thing we do, we call the techs in front of the customer on a speakerphone. You see, this is what happened with this car, and usually is the dealer where he bought the car. So this is what happened with the car. What do you think could happen over here? We just finished tinting. Usually it's something non-related to the tint job, and he hears not from us. He hears from somebody, another professional. So we don't have to explain and try to convince him of anything. So that's
Yep.
one of the things we do it all the time. But it could just happen. Things just happen. So many times, I hear people on the forum all the time. They do a windshield and then the car goes away. And 2 days later, either the radio doesn't work, or the alarm doesn't stop, or the wind wipers, the windshield wipers don't work, or work too much, or whatever. It's coincidences that has nothing to do with our work. But we can't just dismiss the customer, because then you get him angry. And then when the customer is angry, he's not going to be very easy to deal with. So yeah, we break shit. So for sure, we have to be careful and we have to deal with it. But we also need to understand that many customers who will have a problem that it's not related to what we did, but they don't know it. We know it. Most of the times we know, it's impossible. We just did 2 front windows. Why is his third brake light not working? I mean, come on. We know that, but he doesn't know that. So we have to walk with them and make sure they understand and try to get an answer to the problem without getting anybody aggravated. That's the best thing to do, without getting aggravated yourself.
Yeah.
I have spent thousands, and I'm talking about thousands of dollars on having cameras over cameras to protect what was damaged and wasn't damaged, or the process of it. I've had the craziest stories where customers claim we did something just like what you just said, and it has nothing to do with either my tint shop or my tire shop. Regardless, we have, I don't know if you ever saw that. There's a movie a while back. They had a caller ID buster and a buster to a buster and buster to the buster. It's Mark. What's that guy's name? It's one of his movies. Anyways, I have cameras over cameras that are looking at it from multiple angles. So if you come into my shop, you'll see a big old 65-inch TV with 16 cameras on it. That's only the ones I want people to see. There are 32 other cameras that are in my shop. on different servers that have different angles, where customers like, my transmission is not working because you rotated my tires. And it's like, dude, how does your transmission not work because we rotated your tires? It's 5 lug nuts off, 5 lug nuts back on. I've had people like, you broke my door handle. You broke my key. And their keys barely hanging on. So now we have to notate like keys damaged. Take pictures. I had one of the funniest one. Here's the funniest one I got. And I don't know if you ever got this call. I had a customer, and the point is to do an inspection with them. So we have a process. Before we take in a car, we have them roll down the window, roll back up, all 4 of them, and we do it in front of them. But I had a customer one time, she calls me back. She's like, you put lines on my window. She never realized she had the frost lines on her back window until she got a tint. And she's like, those lines weren't there before you guys tinted it. And I'm explaining to this lady, I'm like, no.
Yeah,
lady,
it's amazing.
that was there. We didn't do anything. That's your defrost lines. They're there for this reason. And she didn't want to believe it. I'm like, call up the dealership, Google it. And finally she's like, oh, okay. And I was like, dude, how do you talk with that kind of customer that we literally installed the frost lines for her car?
And how you deal with that customer without making them feel humiliated, because how stupid is that? But you're right, cameras, my cameras have saved me thousands of dollars, because you have no idea how many times they would say, hey, this happens. Oh, you're welcome to look at the cameras and see if that happened.
Yeah.
And usually, probably thousands of times we offer people to look at the cameras. I think maybe a half dozen of them had the time and had the courage to say, okay, I'll take a look at it. So, please, welcome, sit over here and let's rewind. You can knock yourself out, just spend the day if you want to, but your car was here for this many hours. You can see your car for as long as you want.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to. So we have cameras outside and you have cameras inside.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the customers can see the cameras from outside. They can only see the cameras from inside upon request. Because we don't want them to see what's going on inside, but if they want to see what happened to their cars, they're welcome to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, since I've been down there, we've had to do it a few times. We had a lady, I think Cash tinted it was like a Pilot, I don't know, some sort of like SUV, and he tinted front 2 doors. I was on a different car. We were like rotating vehicles in, we had 3 bays, and she came in. So then I walked with her. We have them walk around the car, and then pay. And she's like, oh, what's this? And I didn't work on the car. I didn't know. So I'm like, what? And she points to her back door. The paint underneath the window is, it looks like a, I don't know, sap or bird shit or something like that had sit, and it kind of etched the paint, right? There's like that little like blotch, kind of like edged or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know, it looks like something got on there, so kind of wipe it or whatever. I'm like, it's like etching or something in there. She's like, well, that wasn't there. And I'm like, well, he didn't work on those windows, so there's nothing he could have done, it took some cleaner, like it didn't wipe off. So I was like, hey, Cash, you got the pictures? He's like, yep. And boom, we have a big screen back there too. You can put it right up on the screen. Like, look, it was there before we started. She's like, oh, okay. And then like, she was pretty adamant right at first, like, no, that was not there. And then, oh yeah, okay, no problem. And then away she goes.
Yeah, if you didn't have the picture, it would be a big issue. Hundreds of times we had the same issue. Customer would say, oh, you guys did this to my car. I said, okay, let's take a look at the camera. I said, and they, oh, it was there. Oh, never mind. And they walk away. It's just a matter of saving your ass. The cameras, that's their job. That's it.
Yeah, no, so here's my thing, especially on my tires, because I'm in a little bit of a rough area. So I have a lot of time customers try to blame stuff automatically. And I'm not just saying that, that's just experience. So you take it however you want. But, the thing is, you do the process and you do a check-in and you take pictures. I literally invested in thousands of dollars of equipment that does a 360 view as the car comes in. You do a readout of every alignment of a car that comes in and show the customers that, hey, you're getting this tire replaced, but the other tires are bad as well, because you'll have customers that come in like, hey, my car wasn't shaking before, now it's shaking. Well, you got one tire replaced. There's three other that the car likes. But so on and so on. It's the whole point is you have to protect yourself. I know Dustin put it up in there as, hey, protect your asses, and we all got some crazy stories. But having that evidence there beforehand helps go a long way to protect your ass. But when I come down to it, because it happens so regularly on my tire side, I tell the guys, I was like, hey, let me look at the video. If we're at fault, we take care of it. If we're not at fault, I'm not going to take care of it, because now I feel like you're trying to take advantage of it. Because there are customers out there that literally will know what they did and they want to blame you. So I've had this where customers like, I want to see that video. I want to see the video. I was like, sure, I'm going to show you the video. But what's going to happen is you're going to pay me for 2 hours because I took your word for it. You blamed it, and I had to go back and watch it, and then I'm going to show you the video on it. So if you're willing to do that, or take me to court. Because then I'll show the video in court. Because especially for the people that I know are messing with me. Now, I don't do this with all the customers. It's for people that I know are trying to scam me. When you're in the hood, you have to figure out how to deal with the hood people.
Absolutely, yeah. It's survival.
It's a survival. And people think I'm being funny. I'm not being funny. It's the reality. You have to have extra cameras. You have to have extra detail. We have a worksheet. I have a bigger worksheet than you go to your Ford dealership, and they have all those inspection sheets. Man, my tire guys had to fill out these sheets because they have to make sure that what light was on when the car got pulled in, whether the tire pressure monitoring system light was on or not. And they've had it for 6 months, and they don't care about it. They don't know about it. But as soon as they get the tire done, the light's still on. It's like, oh my God, that light wasn't on there.
Absolutely.
It's those things that it doesn't matter if it's tent, if it's tires, if it's anything else. In today's age, there are great customers. Don't get me wrong. There's probably more great customers than those bad customers. But it's those bad customers, just like that bad review. That one bad review will offset those 50 good reviews, and people are focused on that one bad review. It's just like when we go out eat, right? We Google the place and we look at what people were saying about their services and their food, and we're always focusing on the ones that are negative. 9 out of 10 times, we're not focusing on the good ones. And until you become a business owner and you deal with the same stuff, you're like, wait it out. Wait a minute. Hey, there's a bad review. How many are good? How many are bad? Maybe they were just having a bad day. Maybe the server was having a bad day. Things happen. But for the customers, man, it's the same thing. They're looking at the bad reviews. They want to blame somebody. And a lot of time on the glass, they didn't pay attention, just like what Ryan said. The lady never paid attention to her back window until her front windows were tinted. And all of a sudden, like, hey, this wasn't on here. And then because we had the picture, here's the timestamp, before picture, here's the after picture. We didn't touch that window. That was there before. And then she went from a very upset customer to okay, fine. And that's it. If you didn't have that picture, it was your ass. It was our ass, basically.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, we need to, as professionals, we need to not only know how to make their car look good, but at the end of the day, we need to look good also without humiliating them. So that's usually my approach. I'm always trying to understand, is this customer setting me up? Was his intention to set me up? Or is this customer just stupid? He doesn't know what he's talking about it? Or, you know what I mean? So, and you have to do that with kindness until you find out they were just trying to fuck you. And that, my Portuguese comes out when I find out that they were trying to fuck me. Then they see a different person.
Right.
I said the same thing. I said the same thing. You'll get a very professional cash. And I even say this to my new employees. When I hire new employees, I know you don't like dealing with employees, but when I hire new employees, I tell them, look, first 3 months, you're probation. I'm not going to get to know you. I'm not going to get to know your name. I don't want to know your story. I don't want to know nothing. 3 months, you test me out, I test you out. After that, we get to know who we are. Because the
Exactly.
first 3 months, I need to know if you're dependable. I need to know if you're going to be on time. I need to know if you're going to be responsible. And Ryan obviously didn't go through that process, but Jeremy's going to say something about it. But that's typically how I do it, and it's in the long run, especially when you're going through a lot of employees, which I learned in my distribution center, was that's how, you kind of have to go through and let them know that they're important. You don't compare yourself with the senior guy, right? The guy that's been with me for 12 years, you can't come in first year and be like, hey, man, he gets to do this, he gets to do that. Well, he's put in 12 years of busting ass to get
Exactly.
privileges. Right? So you're not going to be the same guy, but we will build a relationship, and we will build a scaling relationship in the work area as well too. For the guys that say, "Hey, man, I work down there. They paid me this much. I need to have $20 an hour. I can't start at 15." Well, I don't know you. You're saying these things because I've had mechanics that, man, I can bust out 15 alignments a day. Really? You can do 15 alignments a day, pulling in a car, checking it, doing the alignment, camber, caster, toe, everything. And, for the people that don't know alignment, there's 3 adjustments on a car. And 9 out of 10 shops, like your Firestones, will only do that 1 adjustment, which is your toe. That's all they care about, the in and out. They don't care if it's standing up or if it's not. And that toe job, you can do in 15 minutes. That camber, caster, toe job takes an hour or hour and a half on some cars. So for the guys that tell me that, or guy that says, yeah, man, I can hit a car in 45 minutes or an hour, but you take 20 minutes to shrink the back window, I'm sorry, you're not knocking that car out in 45 minutes or an hour. I had a guy that interviewed with me a couple of years ago before Ryan came on, up the street. Hey, man, I knock out all their cars. Why you want to come work here if you're doing so well over there? Oh, they don't pay on time. I don't think he pays me properly, and blah blah blah. I was like, okay, we had an interview. Let's go in the shop. I had one of my employees pull in a car. I was like, hey, shrink that back, install the back window. This guy took literally 45 minutes to do a back window, and in the interview, he's telling me he's knocking out a full car in 45 minutes. So you have the experience, the protection, and talking like this, this is where we can all learn and grow and protect ourselves better. But yeah,
Absolutely.
You want to bring out the bad guy or the rough, personality out. You want to be professional as much as you can, but there are some times where you have to bring up the hood to deal with the hood.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
There's been plenty of times where you have to kind of cuddle them a little bit, where you're not going to completely call them out and say like, I know, like, listen, I know you're trying to screw me. You just be like, oh yeah, I get it, I understand. Sometimes you don't see those things. The tint that brings it out, yeah. Like, yeah, you didn't see that. Like, come on. We kind of mentioned real quick there about like the good customers, right? So we recently did a flat glass job, real nice house, newer home, and I get on one of his sliders, and in between the dual pane, it looks like a chunk of paper towel. It took me a few minutes to try. I thought it was something on the glass. I realized it's in between, and the homeowner is right over there. So I get up. I'm like, hey, did you know about this? Oh no. He comes look at it. He's like, he goes, well. Stuff happens. It must have happened in the, making of the glass or something. I'm like, yeah, it has to be. It's a sealed unit, blah, blah, blah. He's like, okay, thanks for showing me. And I get going and I get in another window, big scratch in the window, whatever. And then later on in the bedroom, I see these like scuff marks through his door and everything. So by the third time I showed him something, like he was appreciative of it, but he was just kind of like, I understand how things are, like, so then I felt a little bit more comfortable. Like I didn't need to point all these things out to him, but, I try to bring those things up when they're right there, but, he's one of them good guys. Because he literally is like, yeah, it is what it is, like the basically once you, sign or take the keys or whatever after the builder's done. It's on you at that point. You didn't point it out, right? So he understood that.
Yeah, and we, as much as I hate to do that, and I do the same thing if the customer is around, and I have gone as far as stopping the job because the customer is not around, and say, listen, we need to report this, and depending on the customer's behavior, we don't even continue the job.
Yeah. Sometimes
You don't want to finish a job and then not get paid, number one. You don't want to finish a job and then get the blame for something you didn't do.
Yep. We did that on a Fusion. I don't remember exactly what the problem was, but this guy was going to do ceramic on this older Fusion, 18 Fusion, and we got it all cut. I even shrunk the back window, and I don't remember at this point what it was, but we found something. And the gentleman was outside. Cash went out there and said, like, hey, listen, we had this issue. I think it was something with the back window, like we can go ahead and do it, or you can fix it. And at that, all of a sudden, he's like, you know what? No, let's not do it. He took his car away. We didn't tint it. We had that pattern set for that car for like a year before we got another one that wanted that same film. And I forgot that I shrunk the window until I unrolled it and I had wrote pre-shrunk. And I'm like, oh my God, we went all the like even through the effort of shrinking the window before he literally said, no, don't do it. I'm taking my car. It just blew him. It's crazy. Some people are like that, I guess.
You missed another one, and I'm so funny. We're kind of hitting this, and there's so many examples. But today I had a gentleman that wanted us to do a mobile job, and
I saw that
mobile job. You'll have to come to the shop, and then he's like, I only got an hour. I was like, okay, I can put 2 people on it and get you done in an hour within that hour. Once you come in, he shows up 13 minutes late, and then he wanted to bargain on the pricing, and he was like a broken record to a point where Mo, sitting next to me, said, hey, Cash, he's a broken record, just walk away.
Good for him.
And I was like, you're right. I'm like, hey, sir, I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to accommodate you because, one, the guy was in a rush, and 2, he kept on wanted to bargain. And I told him, like, hey, man, this is a holiday deals. We're not going to go any lower than that. And then he wanted the XR Plus for the XR price. And I'm like, dude, it's not going to happen. He's like, give me a deal, and I'll send you more. I was like, listen, you pay for this price here, and the next one, I'll give you $50 off. Well, this is my car. I'm going to send you other friends. I'm like, well, charge them the $50. I can't give you a discount on this one. Yeah. I'll give you a discount on the next one. Because
hey, listen, part of the wisdom.
If I have heard that, I would be a millionaire if I got everybody that told me that they're gonna give me a referral.
Yeah, that's an old story.
Yeah.
Part of our wisdom, I think, it is to walk away many times.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how many times I fired the customer before the job was done.
It's tough sometimes to come to that conclusion because, you don't want to get that reputation either. I mean, you want to have new customers, but sometimes it's just not worth it.
No, many times, and you have to measure that before the job is done. Because if the guy is a dick before the job's done, he's gonna be worse when the job is done. So usually, if I get that feel that this guy, many times, unfortunately, I fired a customer for being disrespectful with my people. Come in disrespecting. Oh man, that the Portuguese comes out very quick. and I am giving back the key and said, sir, you gotta find somebody else to tint your car. Mm-hmm. I never put up with disrespectful customers. No way, Jose. I try to be very respectful to everybody, But a customer that comes in across is either trying to knock down our price and trying to knock down our product, trying to knock down our people, I lose on them very quick.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was very hard trying not to lose on this guy today. Honestly, like I repeated myself literally 15 times. And one, this guy, I kind of had a little feeling, but I was like, you know what? It's end of the year. Just I don't have another car after this. Let me just take care of him, and it's okay. And on top of that, it was a Land Rover. It was a brand new Land Rover. Okay. And the funny thing is, my other customer that was waiting to get her windows tinted, she goes over to me. How the fuck do you have a Land Rover and not afford a $300 tint job? She told me, she's like, you guys did a good job by letting him go.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was afraid that
Absolutely.
she was gonna think opposite, and the customer, my brother's customer, was like, "Dude, are you guys really dealing with this?" And then she goes afterwards, and she's like, "Damn, how the hell does he have a brand new Land Rover and can afford a $300 tin job? His oil change costs more than that." She's the one telling me that his oil change costs more.
Yeah, absolutely. And we need to know that certain customers are not for us.
Right. Yeah.
But employee being rude to the employees, I've had this where I've had ladies as my employees, and I have people that are being rude to them. I've literally after taking the cars in, I've actually put back the car and be like, hey, go take it somewhere else, because I'm not gonna deal with that. You're not gonna disrespect my employees. You're not gonna speak rude to my employees. I've had people that got rude or upset. I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry. We have a sign that literally says that we have the right to refuse service to anybody. And I literally had that happen years and years ago, where like, oh, it doesn't say they have to service me. I was like, okay, I'll put up a sign right now. And ever since then, and it's been almost 18 years, I've had that sign up. We have the right to refuse service to anybody. And I haven't done a lot of it, but I have over the years have turned away money, because money is not important than respect. Especially, it's not only about you; it's also about your employees, because your employees are your family. If you don't stand up for your employees, who's going to stand up for them?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. I agree.
All right, so it's the time of the evening. Thank you so much for being on here. I think a
Well,
lot
thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
it's
Yeah.
a lot of
Great
people just
conversation.
what you're saying, man. It's just like they're all kind of going with it. I really haven't had any real questions. I had one in here, and I'm not sure what happened with it. Somebody was asking, what are your thoughts of these events like Tinter Battles, WFCT, and SEMA, and so on? What are your thoughts about tint offs?
I think it's a good opportunity to show your trade, but it's an even better opportunity for people to sell you stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately, that's what a lot of the people there are there for, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not, I'm not trying to downplay or bash it. It's just not for me. I never felt attracted to it. I believe it's a good place for you to go to buy stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, maybe.
there's the buying understanding, there's the networking. I mean, for me, I feel that the networking is so much better in person when you're at these events and you can see people, especially compete, and you can see what they're doing that you can improve on and implement at your place. Um, to me, I think it's more of that than anything else. And then I actually had a question for you, because I think somebody asked me this question earlier about something else. But what are your thoughts if one of these events reaches out to you and asks you to be one of the judges for them? Would you be up to that kind of challenge?
Yeah, I would be up to it if it fits in my schedule. You see, I don't, as much as I appreciate the networking, I believe it is important. But on that regards, I believe that local networking is the most important part. because I can go out there and I can network with a lot of people that I admire and I respect, and I have a good relationship with them online through videos and all that. It's good to be there in person, but there's very little we can do for each other when I'm here and Mike Norg is in Texas. You see, so networking in Texas in between Mike Norg and other people that are around him, I think it's super essential. As much as it is for me here in New England to be networking with the people around me here in New England, where we can actually do something uh, for each other when necessary, because we're close to each other. You need a roll of film, or there is a client that you can't serve but you have somebody else near that can do. So this kind of, and even teaching, helping each other to figure out certain things, I think this local network, it's super essential. On the national level, I believe it is important, but not as much. And I believe new technology, new products, that's when on the national level, this is super important.
Well, I want
Uh,
to add to that right there is that I think the national aspect is getting easier and is important as well because of the technology. You have FaceTime, you have video calls. Um,
Absolutely.
I've had help from Marco out of Texas that I've FaceTime with Richard, who's in California. He's usually in the shower in the morning when I'm calling him with the early morning problem, and I get to see his shower, and he will say, "Hey, turn on the video. Let me see what you're looking at, and let me see what it is." And then at the end of it, he'll just say, "Cash is fucking glass, just tinted." Um,
Hey, listen, Cash, I have gotten calls from New Zealand, from Spain, from Europe, several places in Europe, from Brazil, especially people speak Portuguese, from Portugal, and from United States, all over the United States. I get calls all the time. So I agree with you. I think this is super important. And when I have the chance, I have one guy from Arizona that called me actually once a week, I think. No problem with that. If I can help, I will. I would never deny help if I can help. But so it is important. But what I mean is, if you don't network, I think this competitions and this networks, they should happen on a local basis also.
I agree with you. I do
Yeah,
agree
it's fun when everybody gets together and a lot of learning is done and a lot of network and a lot of fun is done. It's all cool and good, but I don't think there is enough being done on the local levels though.
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. I think we should have more local, smaller networks that should also help each other out. Like you said, you may need a roll of film, you may need something else. Um, Maverick had a question for you. Um, what did 3M charge for training back in the day when you were trying to get training back?
Yeah, listen, it was over 30 years ago, 34 years ago. I'm 63. So in between that distance and my age, I could be wrong. Let's put it this way. But the number that stuck to my mind was $3,500.
Wow, $3,500 back in '92?
Yes. I mean, maybe Mr. P is listening to our podcast and he could correct me, but I think that was the price. It was outrageous. I almost
Mm.
fainted. Yeah. I told him there was no way possible. I was making 55,000 a year. I said there was no way in hell I can afford this.
Yeah. Uh,
So Jeremy put up a comment here, and I want to kind of address this. And I think with you, we'll love your input on this. But most of the locals look at each other as competition. Um, and what are your thoughts about changing that perspective? Because I think the more we network, the more we outreach, and the more we help each other out, I think we can turn that from competitor to more of working together, and helping each other out, because there's plenty of cars out there, there's plenty of houses out there, there's plenty of buildings out there that needs tint and can be tinted. I think there's plenty of food for everybody. I've had this conversation with my father a few times on employees going on doing their own business, and he's got the old school mentality of like, man, they're just gonna learn from you and leave you and take your customers. And
I,
you know,
I, I I think to answer that question, we need to go into analyzing, and I always did, what kind of professional you are. In the window tinting, there are several types of businesses going on. Some business owner are, I mean, window tint business owners are in the business for the love of it and the love of the money that it brings. But the money, it's not even the most essential part. It's the dynamic of window tinting. So those people, they are out there, and it's easy to network with them because they are not on the race to zero. They are not trying to cut you off and sell something half of the price that he knows you're selling just because he needs that money. They understand that it's better to make more and work less. So
right,
with those guys, it's easy to network. I have a bunch of them around me. I have a very good relationship with a bunch of shops that I don't compete with them. They don't compete with me. They have their customers. I have my customers. They charge their price. I charge my price. We somewhat similar. We're not the cheapest around. Usually, this kind of business perspective, they're not the cheapest around, but they're the best to network with. I mean, if somebody's selling a $99 tint job near you and you're charging 375 for the same job, I mean, forget about networking with that guy. Honestly, it's almost impossible because he's on a race to nothing. And you don't want to be on that race. So you have to find those guys that have legitimate business, legitimate intentions. They want to be on the market for a long time. They want to offer a good quality product, a good quality service. And those people you can network with. You can exchange information. You can exchange techniques. You can even exchange customers. I am sending customers out many times with things that I can't do, and I know that where they're going, they do tint also.
right,
And I have had many situations when a customer approached me about something, and I tell them, hey, listen, so and so does that, and he also does the tinting. Maybe while your car is there to do that, you could get it tinted. So it's all a matter of perspective, and you don't need to network with everybody around. If you network with a half dozen people and you have 20 shops around, but 14 of them are on the race to nothing, you better off mingling with six.
right. Agree with you. You gotta know your worth. You gotta know their worth, and you gotta make sure that your mind like mindset. Uh,
Absolutely.
that's the key part to it. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get these two giveaways away for you guys here, so we can call it a night. Because I'm pretty sure that fireplace right behind Ishmael is not just for design. It's getting colder. And Ryan might be losing his network pretty soon. I saw Stephanie in there a
My
minute ago.
my phone's about ready to die. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna give away the important sauce tonight and the rug. Not the rug, but the
Blanket.
towel. The blanket. There you go. All right. So let's do the important sauce first. Ishmael, whenever you say ready, we'll spin it.
All right.
All right. There we go. This is for the important sauce. Richard Glenn Jackson, the originator, and cannot win his own product. So sorry, Richard.
We're-
We'll spin it again.
Last video of his I saw, he said he needed some more.
All right, Lynn. Lynn, if you're still in the comments, you just won the important sauce because Richard winning his own product. Are you
Nice.
still in the comments? If you are, please let us know, and you'll get that important sauce, which is very important. And this is another thing that me and Ishmael were talking earlier, was that important sauce is important because it helps you do the job faster and easier. Do you really need it? No, you don't need it. You want it, but it's like it that makes the job easier and faster and better. And for that reason, this is
Uh-oh.
did we lose Ishmael?
No, I'm here.
No,
Sorry.
I thought you lost. I thought I was going out.
I thought I lost you guys for a second too. Go ahead.
And Lynn says she's in here, so she gets it. All right, Ishmael, next one, whenever you said, this is going to be for the blanket.
All right, go.
All right, here we go. I don't know why Bill's name is so big. That's just, I'm just fascinated on that. And, ooh, Kenny came so close, but Joel, if you're in the comments, let us know. You got the blanket. If you're not in here, there's plenty of people that want that blanket.
Very soft.
Yeah, very soft, yes. Very colorful for some of y'all, if you don't like that color. But a very nice film logo on it. Joel, let me know if you're in the comments, buddy. We'll give you 10 seconds.
Is that Hernandez?
I think that's Joel. I don't have the last name, honestly.
Oh.
I don't want to lie. Know your value and your feelings. What feelings? I mean, to everybody's own, right? Whatever works for you, man, you make it work. This is what I love about talking to a lot of people here, and this is Joe Hernandez. Yep, yes, I'm here. Karen is like in here for him as well. Yes, he's in here. All right, congratulations. You got that. So our winner for tonight, Ryan, did you write it down, or you want me to write it down?
Yeah, I got Lynn and Joel. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, Ishmael, any last words, any last advice, anything you want to finish it off with? We really, again, appreciate you of doing this. And before we exit out, I do want to give one more shout out to our sponsors of the week. That is Rewire Technology and Nanotech Window Film. Thank you guys for being the sponsors. You guys help us keep on doing what we're doing and grow this group and this event. So thank you, Nano, Link, and Rewire Technology. With that being said, last words.
Keep up.
Good night.
Keep up the good work.
Keep up the great work, guys. Thank you so much, Ishmael. Love having you. Can't wait to actually meet you in person one day. And to everybody, Happy New Year. We're 2 days away, so hope for the best, wishes for the best, and best prosperity to you all.
Happy New Year, guys.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Great talking to you, Ismail.
Great pleasure.